Respected teachers, researchers, colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen, it is with a deep sense of sorrow that we have come together virtually from different parts of the world, so we can see that the members or the family members of IMBIC are from starting from US, Canada, Australia, then Sweden and Japan, and many other parts of the world, to condole the passing away of Professor Mahima Ranjan Adhikari, the founder president of IMBIC, who left for the heavenly abode on June 29, 2021. On behalf of IMBIC family, I begin, and being the secretary of IMBIC, I welcome you all to this condolence meeting. So many people asked me the question that what exactly happened here. So it was really quite unexpected that we lose our president, Professor M.R. Adhikari. So it's like the description could be like this. So he was quite fit, and he was always doing, he was quite engaged with writing of his books, and he was quite fit and quite conscious about his body and food habit, everything. So for the last 6 months, he was having a kind of appetite problem. So we discussed online with doctors, and according to doctors, they say that, okay, due to this pandemic situation, everybody is losing their appetite because we had less physical work. Then for the last 3 months, he had a kind of pain at his back and having problem at his knee, and it was really not very difficult, but he was feeling some pain at his back and legs. Then we discussed with the orthopedics doctors online, and all the doctors, they said that, okay, it was as he was spending around 8 to 10 hours before laptop for writing his books, it could be a spondylosis or something like that. So we scanned it, and it revealed that he had a spondylosis at his back. And the doctor said that at this age, it was quite normal to have this kind of spondylosis. And for the last month, his 2 feet were swelling up. So at that time, the situation of COVID was little less here. So we had a courage to take him to doctor physically, and there the doctor suspected that it could be some problem of kidney. And due to this kidney problem, the legs or the feet were swelling up. Then he suggested for a USG ultrasonography after having a medicine for 21 days. Then on 24th, we booked a USD for him. And on 23rd morning, from the morning, we are actually planning to submit the final version of the 3rd volume to Springer. In the evening, it took around evening. So we are about to submit, but at that time I saw that I feel that my father had some fever. So I just touched him, and I guessed that he could have some fever, and I measured it, and it was like 100. And then I took the oximeter, and I found that his oxygen level was around 89, 90, but he wasn't feeling anything bad, like any breathing trouble or anything. He couldn't feel. Then we decided, okay, it was like late evening. So we fortunately, with the help of Red Volunteer, we could have managed to have an oxygen cylinder at our home. And the whole night we somehow struggled. And then on the very early morning, we took him to the hospital, nearby hospital. So we thought that it could be a kind of symptoms for COVID. So as you all know that during this period, if somebody is to be admitted to hospital, then the first thing is that he or she needs to have the COVID test. And it was a COVID test, and it took around 3 to 4 hours to get the result. And the result came up to be negative. And his chest X-ray was also done. And after having all the things, the doctor decided that he is not a COVID patient, so he has been shifted to the normal hospital. And since it was quite late in the afternoon, the doctor decided that the USD could be on the next day, on 25th of June. So on the morning of 25th, the doctor completed the USD, and I am fortunate enough that The doctor who was treating my father was one of my very close friends, and he took all the necessary actions, and he told that whatever I would do for my father, I will do with your father too. So he asked me to visit his office, and I went there, and he told that I'm not finding it very good because I see that few spots are there on his liver, and I am suspecting it's the last stage of liver cancer. So at that time, the sky just broke on my head. But he told me that, okay, it's only me, but you can also take another some third party or another doctor's suggestion that what could be. And on his personal guidance, he gave all the test report to me, and he told me that go to another cancer hospital. It's nearby in Salt Lake. It's a Tata Cancer Hospital in Rajara, New Town. So I went there he arranged everything, and I talked with two of the doctors, and all of them, just after seeing the reports, they told that it's correctly diagnosed, and it's the last stage. So unfortunately, when I came back to the hospital, my father was shifted to the ventilator. So after that, we couldn't talk with him. But on 25th, I told him that we are going to send the final version of the book, and he told that, okay, do it. So I have seen him as in a various aspect. Like I have seen him as a caring father, sincere teacher, motivator, colleagues, as well as guide of my life. He had a very calm personality and cool personality that you all know, and had the power to make a quick decision. He never said me no to any of the work that I did, and always be cheerful with me. So starting from the marks that I obtained, even if I get very bad score, he always cheered me up and always said that, okay, next time. So, but like any professional bodies, we, the IMBIC family, will certainly follow his path. And the IMBIC family will continue the spirit of IMBIC and certainly conduct the 15th International Conference 2021 on its scheduled dates. So we have already modified the website. So if you have time, just Google it, March 2021. You will get all the details of that. And we'll arrange the same conference, same date, but it will be the 15th, but it will be online mode. Hope that in next year it will be in a normal mode, and we'll able to conduct it physically as usually we do it. So that's all that I want to share with you. Now, may I request the youngest member of IMBIC, Master Obipriyo Odhikari, who is the proud grandson of Professor M.R. Adhikari, to read out a brief life sketch of Professor Adhikari. So, may I request Obipriyo?
Professor Dr. Mahima Ranjan Adhikari, popularly known as Professor M.R. Adhikari, was the founder president of Institute for Mathematics, Bioinformatics, Information Technology and Computer Science, which we all know as IMBIC. He was also a retired professor of Department of Pure Mathematics in University of Calcutta and the former secretary of Calcutta Mathematical Society. Professor Adhikari was born in a cultured, educated family at the village Khanjapur in the district of Midnapore, now in West Medinipur. He stood first class first in M.Sc examination of Calcutta University in pure mathematics in 1966 and received a gold medal. Professor Adhikari was awarded Ph.D. degree from the same university. He also worked as a professor at the Department of Mathematics in Burdwan University, West Bengal, and assistant professor of mathematics at the Presidency College, Kolkata, Hooghly Mohsin College, Chinsurah, and Barasat College in Barasat. He was elected the president of Mathematical Science section of the 95th Indian Science Congress in 2008. He visited several institutions in India, USA, Russia, UK, Greece, Switzerland, Italy, Japan, Sweden, France, China, Turkey, Malaysia, Nepal, and many other countries on invitation. Professor Adhikari guided 12 PhD students working in 9 different areas of mathematics for the award of PhD degree. His published works have been referred in many books by Asian and foreign authors and have been cited internationally in many research papers. He published 9 textbooks on basic mathematics and edited 2 research monographs, out of which 3 books are published by Springer. 3 of his latest textbooks, entitled Basic Topology 1, Metric Spaces and General Topology, Basic Topology 2, Topological Groups of Manifolds and Lie groups, and Basic Topology 3, Algebraic Topology of Fiber Bundles, are at the final stage of publication to be published by Springer. He was academically active till his final days. Professor Adhikari shall remain in the heart of all the people that he touched, owing to his ever supportive, encouraging, and loving nature. My grandfather loved me a lot. I can say that he had always supported me and encouraged me in my works a lot. He sometimes played with me when no one was there to play with. My grandfather was very fit to play with me, sometimes in the park before the pandemic situation and on the terrace during the pandemic. My grandfather inspired me to write books like him. Still, I could not even believe in the fact that my grandfather, Professor M.R. Adhikari, is not present with us anymore. I miss my grandfather a lot, and I am proud to be a grandson of Professor Dr. Mahima Ranjan Adhikari. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhipriyo. May I now request one of the senior most member of IMBIC family, Professor Eric Trell, to share your experience.
Yes, it's a sad fact that Professor Adhikari has left us, and active to the last, and in a loving family and a rich life. So we remember him with joy and great thankfulness. My friendship with Mahim started more than 40 years ago, and we met in circumstances in London called Physical Interpretation of Relativity Theory. And already then you saw that Mahim was the born mathematician, absolute command, and for him mathematics was a landscape, and his formulas were the roads, the paths to mastering what the things were about. And you could spot that command, absolute command, in every circumstance, because he listened and then he said, yeah, and it was perfectly clear for him whatever complicated things were on the agenda. But combined with that was a very warm personality. You immediately got friend with him. There was absolutely no, so to say, obstacles to feel this understanding, human understanding with him. And this warmth was a great joy to experience. We have actually met in this house because I'm sitting in the summer house, which is beside Lake Vänern, which is the second biggest lake in Europe, by the way. It's more like a sweetwater sea, really. And we have a summer house there, and we met there during a conference organized at the Calcutta University almost 40 years ago. And that means that I have had the, so to say, great experience with Mahim more than half of his life, really. And we had that conference here in this summer house. And I went to India, I think, more than 25 times. First in Calcutta Mathematical Society, and then in this IMBIC that we started. And that was always such an experience, because from the moment you came to the airport, you were taken care of, and you got through the fantastic mega city of Calcutta, often in the night or early morning. And he always scouted and showed where we were and what it was and so forth and so on. Always so very friendly. Eventually, I also took my wife. She's, like me, a medical doctor. And she also experienced such enormous friendship with the Adhikari's family. And she happens to be born on the 23rd of December. And the IMBIC meetings are on the 23rd of December and to the 25th or 24th. It's Christmas time. And always she got a big cake and a congratulation of her birthday. And she also was active as a chairman for the sessions, mostly because the IMBIC meetings are so rich. It's not, so to say, confined to mathematics. No, it's about Ganges watershed, and it's about social relations in local academies, and it's a very rich team. And I have come to notice that it really means a lot in India also. It puts a mark, and the quality of the meetings are just immense, in my opinion. And I'm always so impressed of the certainty of the lectures and so on. But that, I think, is a part of that atmosphere there, which is friendly and a bit curious, as it were, open for the wonders of not only mathematics, but life at large. And that was the scope, you could say, of Mahim. He was a gigantic man, in my opinion. And it's a great loss, but the consolation is that he lived a full life, and then it just went out to great sorrow, of course, but the memories are so light, and I'm grateful to have met this wonderful man, and also his wonderful family, because the hospitality and the kind of exchange and knowledge and so forth and so on I've had is really immense. So these are perhaps not a formed talk, but it's more some kind of reflections which I make, and I share with family Abhishek the great sorrow of Professor Mahim Adhikari. I thank you for this now.
Thank you, Eric, from Sweden, for sharing your few experience with my father. Now, may I request Professor Chobe to share a few of his experience, maybe.
Abhishek and all the IMBIC family members, it is indeed a real sorrow to have Professor Adhikari leave us at such a, I would still say, such a young age. And we are really very saddened, as Dr. Trell mentioned. The sorrow will linger for a while, I'm very sure. I actually got drawn through him, through IMBIC family, and starting in 2013, when he invited me to serve on the statistics program committee. And then in 2014, I also joined. He had such a magnetic personality. He knew who would do what. So he withdrew people around him and attracted people like family members. So as Abhishek and you all know, we have edited 2 volumes, one in contemporary topics in mathematics and statistics applications. Another one is with Springer. That one was with Asian Private, Asian Books. And the other one with Abhishek and Professor Adhikari on mathematics, statistics, and applications in sciences and engineering with Springer, which was, I think, few years back. It was displayed at our MSAS meetings. So such a memory, it will be hard to go, as I said. I basically feel for share the sorrow of Abhishek and his whole family, and they are strong to bear this loss. I'll basically say we'll celebrate his life and his memory in our heart forever and forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chobe from Canada. Now may I request Professor Manikam to express or to share a few words.
Let me share my memory about Professor Adhikari. I think it was in early 2000. First time I went to Calcutta to attend the IMBIC conference, and my flight was supposed to reach at 5 in the morning. And Professor Adhikari has sent me an email saying that he would send somebody to pick me up. I told him there was no need for somebody to come out that early in the morning. I would take care of myself. But when I reached there, Calcutta at 5 in the morning, for my surprise, Professor Adhikari himself was there at 5 in the morning. It was very unexpected. And he was such a simple, unassuming, and nicely friendly person. You know, I really liked him right from first day. You know, we became really good friends. It's unfortunate that he's no more. And I will remember his memory forever. I think that's right. That's all I want to say. It's my heartfelt condolences to everybody.
Thank you, Professor Manikam. May I now request Dr. Shweet De from USA to please share your...
Mohim was a good friend of mine, like my younger brother, and we had many discussions with him regarding many aspects of pure mathematics. I'm not a pure mathematician. Anyway, we have good friendship. It's very sad that while I was working on cancer, recently I have a publication. It will be through Springer on mathematical modeling for treatment of breast cancer. It is kind of very strange information to me that Mohim had cancer and none could detect it for such a long time. When it goes to the fourth stage, which means it has spread, And that spreading could have been detected. That's what I think. We have now far better medications available to fight against this deadly disease. But cancer is definitely not a death sentence. But I am surprised. I mean, this is something that is like a singularity, that how Mohim went to the fourth stage of cancer without being detected earlier. A kind of very strange. And Abhishek, you mentioned some of the symptoms. Yes, all those symptoms could be present. But one symptom will be there, that he will have difficulty, getting what I should say, for digestion problem, because it is liver problem. Liver is producing all kinds of chemicals, you might say, so that body will process food. And if it is liver cancer at the fourth stage, and I met so many patients, in fact, I worked with some of the topmost doctors of the United States for 2 years, almost without sleeping, almost like an intern, so many deaths. But in Mohim's case, it is kind of strange. I do not remember that I have experienced such a case where cancer is in the fourth stage and it was completely undetected before. Anyway, I would like to say you about how we will celebrate his life rather than how we will mourn his death. I remember in 2004, my granddaughter, she was just 5 years old, she came to our home. Like Indian mothers, they dump their kids on their parents and go somewhere. That's the case. Anyway, we were taking care of our granddaughter, and she started crying. She started crying profusely. I said, her name is Tekli. I said, Tekli, why you are crying? But she won't say anything. I picked her up on my lap, and I was very surprised why she is crying so much. Then she asked me 2 questions. Number 1, Dadu means grandpa. Dadu, is God good? First question. Second question, is death good? These are the 2 fundamental questions. I asked her, why? And her mother later told me that she saw tsunami that took place in India and I think in Indonesia and so on. And she saw many dead bodies on TV rolling on the seashore. And she started crying. I understood that perfectly. I said, Tekli, let me take you to our kitchen. I brought some ice cubes in a cup. And she saw those ice cubes. I put those ice cubes, it's winter in December, on a vent from where hot air is coming out. And ice cubes started melting. And then soon they melted. I said, do you see any ice cubes there? She said, no, Dadu. I said, if you bring another glass of ice cubes, they will say, these ice cubes, my friends, they're dead. But you know what happened to them. They are being transformed. It goes into another state. And then she loved to drink ice water. She started drinking. And I said, and there was no water. I said, do you see any water there? She said, no, I don't see any water. She said, it is in my tummy. Then I said, there are changes. If you bring another glass of water, they will say, this water is dead. Therefore, death is not the end of life. It is beginning of a new life. And that triggered me. She asked me, what can I find here, Dadu? And I showed her this book. You forgive me. This is the Bhagavad Gita. Believe it or not, when I lectured at, this is the National Lab. See, I worked with NASA many years, but this is the National Lab at Los Alamos, where Dr. Oppenheimer worked. His son is still there. And Oppenheimer talked about the Bhagavad Gita. I showed her the Bhagavad Gita. I said, when you will grow up, you read this book. And there are many answers. That triggered a little research that I got funded. And I wrote a very short article. It is I think if you go online and put my name and look at my work, it is called, the name of the article is Flow of Energy from Life to Death. It is a purely mathematical work. It was supported by a very wonderful scholar from MIT. His name is Tim Radford. He wrote an article in Guardian of his research, which is directly connected with the Bhagavad Gita. What he proved that life exists everywhere in nature, even what you call vacuum. Life exists. And that life exists in a micro seed form. And he tried to catch some of these seeds. And what I did with him really is when the life starts, it comes with a very subtle energy. Then there's an outflow of energy and inflow of energy as life goes on. And at the end, when life ends, life goes back to exactly the same energy with which it started. It is not a completely big article, it's a very small, but entirely mathematical. There is no Bhagavad Gita there. And here, in the second chapter, if you go to the Shankha Yoga of the Bhagavad Gita, here Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, at the very beginning, life exists unmanifested. You cannot see it, but it exists. In the mid stage, life appears in a manifest state so that we all can see it. And then at the end, it goes back to the same unmanifest state. Going back now to my brother, Mohim, I think he is not dead. I do not believe, I do not want to believe that he is dead. I think he exists in a very subtle form, and I strongly believe that these are the discussions that we are doing. We will talk about his achievement, marvelous achievements that Mohim did in his life. Marvelous achievements. And we should think of those things and think of him as one who is with us, who did not leave us, simply that we cannot see him, but we can feel his presence through his works, through his marvelous works. Therefore, let us celebrate his life, Abhishek.
Now, may I request one of his contemporary around batchmate, Professor B.N. Mondol, to share his views.
I was a professor in Indian Statistics Institute. I retired long back. Actually, Muhim, he is known to me as Mahima Ranjan Adhikari. We are from the same batch in the sense that he studied pure mathematics, and at that time that Department of Pure Mathematics was in Calcutta University, Darbhanga building. And I was a student of applied mathematics, the same batch, same year. But I knew him when he was also a student. I met him actually because many of my friends were.
Cannot hear him.
And therefore, and we used to go to College Street campus. So whenever we used to go to College Street campus, we used to meet, and there I met first Mohim. So from that time, we developed a friendship, and he's from a district, from the same district I am also from. So therefore, we had some close affinity. And later on, his achievements. I mean, he stood first. I was also something like that in applied mathematics, etc. Then we met after a few years. We were colleagues in Barasat Government College. So again, our friendship grew, and from that time, actually, we are in. I mean, in some, I used to know him, I used to meet him, etc. And this goes on. And he's developing in pure mathematics area. He goes from one college to another college because he was in government college at that time. And then finally, he settled down at Calcutta University after moving from Burdwan University. And I know this is not very easy actually at that time. Nobody can move from particularly transfer from one university to another university until and unless he is very good. So obviously, because of his research, he could join Calcutta University as a professor. And then I was also in Calcutta University, and then I moved to Indian Statistical Institute. And we had our friendship grew also because of Calcutta Mathematical Society. He built a house in Salt Lake area, and not very far from the house, from the building of Calcutta Mathematical Society, which was built during 80s actually. And at the time, I was also associated with the Calcutta University. He used to come here, and we developed some sort of academic environment there, and he was very much involved in these things. And my feeling is that Calcutta University Mathematical Society gained from this association, particularly Mohim's association. He helped the society in various ways. I knew it personally. And later on, he became the secretary of the Mathematical Society. And during his tenure of secretaryship, he did one very marvelous thing. Those of you who have visited Calcutta Mathematical Society, particularly the first floor, that is the lecture room actually, a hall type of room. The whole, all the walls, 4 walls are dotted with, there are pictures of good mathematicians. I mean, almost all the mathematicians in the world, and he could do it. And I appreciate it very much. Many times I told him that you have done a very good thing. Because I don't know that anywhere this type of pictures of many mathematicians are there. So this is very good. This was a very good thing he has done for the Calcutta Mathematical Society. And since he lives in Salt Lake area and I live in deep north actually. It is, although it is Calcutta, but it is outside the Calcutta city jurisdiction. So very rarely we used to meet in the later years. And I remember last we met during a seminar in Science College, and that was the last meeting. But we had some sort of over telephone we used to talk, but not very frequent. And I remember only this year he rang me. I had corona actually, and he rang me to know how I am after my corona. And I don't know from where he knew that, but I didn't have anything. And he was okay. Whenever we used to meet, we thought that he's quite, physically he's quite okay. And he used to give us some tips how to stay fit. Uh, uh, although we are of the same age almost, and I'm not as fit as Mohim, but he says, no, do this thing, do that thing, then you will remain fit. You look at me, how I remain fit, this type of thing. And then later on, I suddenly heard the same day when he passed away that he is no more. Actually, after this telephone call, after last February, we never had any telephone call. And I thought that he is okay. And it was very devastating for me that Mohim passed away. And so the next day I called Abhishek and I talked to him. I relieved myself. Actually, he's a very good friend of mine. Although because we are from different areas of mathematics, we didn't have much touch later on. But whenever we used to meet, we had lots of talk and this and that, etc., etc. So I think I never thought that he will go away like this. As Professor Shuhid said, I know Shuhid very well, and actually his last sentence that Mohim has not gone, he is amongst us. So with these few words, I must thank Abhishek for asking me to talk something about him. And I also urge Abhishek that don't think that your father is no more. Well, continue with his ideas and think that he is with you all the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, may I request another contemporary of my father, as far as I know, that Professor Vikas Sinha. So, Professor Sinha, are you with us?
Pay homage to the departed soul of late Professor Mohim Ranjan. It so happens that in 2016, as well as in 2017, I got a special invitation from him to take part in the statistics program in the conference meeting that was to be held in Salt Lake in a hotel. I'm a resident of Calcutta. I was attached to Indian Statistical Institute, Calcutta, for a long time. And when I went over there to the conference site, I was pleasantly surprised to see that there was a good gathering of statisticians. And I could see Tobe, also Beatrice von Rosen, and then many others whom I knew personally. Anyway, it was a good experience. And what was most striking is that Professor Mohim Ranjan Adhikari, he happened to be from the same college where I did my undergraduate study. He was senior to me by about 10 years. So immediately we got into a elder brother, younger brother relation, and we used to call him in Bengali Dada, Mohim Da. That is how we tried to address him. And I had a twin brother, Bimal Sinha, because Sinha, he used to call us Sinha brothers. And then we became immediately fortunate to be very close to him, so much so that his son Abhishek also got used to both the twin Sinha brothers. It was very wonderful to be available and to take part, active part in both the conference proceedings in 2016 and 17 and make presentations of our papers and then make a submission, etc. So Mohimda had a very pleasant personality and he could be friendly with almost all strangers without any taking any difficult time. He was very friendly with us, and then we really, when I got to know this email message from Abhishek, it was really heart blowing, very difficult to imagine. But because of this COVID situation, everything has got most unpredictable, unfortunately. May his soul rest in peace. And I give my condolence to the family members that are left behind. Thanks for giving me some time to pay my homage to Professor Adhikari.
Thank you, Professor Sinha. May I now request Carl from US to please share your experience, maybe.
Okay, can you hear me okay? Am I loud enough? Or
Yeah, you're perfect. Yeah.
I've been trying to make some notes here, and I'm at a loss for the loss, and I'd like to just express my condolences to the Adhikari family and to the IMBIC family. I guess what comes to mind for me is my first trip to India to attend a math conference. I was traveling by myself, and I was somebody with no mathematics credentials really, and I was working in an area that's strange. And I remember sitting there in the airport. It was dark 30 in the morning, and waiting for somebody to come pick me up. And the whole airport had cleared out, and I'm still sitting there. I'm scared. First trip to India, and not knowing what to expect or who to expect, and I didn't know who was going to pick me up. And I was just kind of out of it. And I was told that somebody was at the door looking for me. And since I guess I was the only one in the airport, the guard knew that it had to be me. And so Professor Adhikari was there to pick me up. Again, it was just the fear that I was experiencing, and just moments after meeting him, you know, I was put at ease. I trusted him immediately, and I was given kind of a short tour through Calcutta, and it seemed to be kind of a tradition over the years that Professor Adhikari would give me a short tour of Calcutta, a different area, which I just love. It was just priceless. It was just how he made me feel special and that I know with all the people that was attending the math conference, that him taking that time to kind of personalize my particular trip to India, it was just amazing. He's, yes, he's going to live on in all of us. That's true. I just think of, because of his encouragement, and that encouragement came in the form of inviting me to the next conference, that my research in color, has grown considerably. So for me, it was moving from the point of being seen kind of like a mad scientist to getting, papers published. It was just incredible, and that just came from the encouragement and guidance that I got from the professor. So I guess to conclude, I can't quite remember how this expression goes, so I'm probably going to get it wrong, but it was just an expression that talks about, if you ever want to know how well you're doing in life, just look at who your friends are. And Professor Adhikari was my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl, from US, for sharing your experience. May I now request Professor Rothindranath Mukherjee, who is again a contemporary of my father, Professor M.R. Adhikari. So, Professor Mukherjee, are you with us?
He's here. He's here. I mean,
Yeah,
he's in the list.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we can again come back to him maybe after some time. May I now yeah, so Professor Mukherjee is there. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Professor Adhikari was my colleague at the Department of Mathematics, Burdwan University. Possibly for 10 years he was there. Abhishek, am I correct?
I don't exactly have the exact statistics for how many years he was in Burdwan.
Yeah, actually. And at that time he was teaching two special papers. One is algebraic topology, another is algebraic geometry. Okay, two special papers simultaneously. Yeah, you have heard and you will be hearing so many things about his academic activity from the different persons who are present here. But I like to mention some of the points which has attracted me and which is not known to many of you, and not only you, but and others also. Okay. Professor Adhikari has a characteristic property I have observed during his stay and after he joined at Calcutta University. Whenever I met him at different circumstances and different occasions, like on different conferences in Calcutta Mathematical Society that he is a very soft-hearted gentleman, though apparently it was not been seen during his activity with others, apparently. And another point I like to mention here, if somebody has made something for him, he always tried to refund it in multiple ways. That is his characteristic property, and which is not known to everybody. And I have observed minor. Regarding Professor Adhikari, he was senior to me academically by 1 year in the Department of Pure Mathematics, Calcutta University. Okay. And I'm also still associated with some of his classmates who are all, definitely they are all retired persons. Okay. And whenever I talk those persons, they always agree with my view. So I hope all of us will pray to mighty power, to that mighty power that let his soul have peaceful rest, because he was very active in different spheres of academic world. With this, I conclude. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Mukherjee. May I now request Professor von Rosen from Sweden to share his view.
Thank you.
Professor Rosen?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this was unexpected because, to be honest, I've been a couple of times participating in the conference. And my experience from the conference is, of course, the face of Mahim, always smiling, extremely friendly, and thinking of others. When I brought the family, he was thinking of the family. And this is my memory of him. And then I think also when I'm sitting here and also I don't know the person much, I must say, but I think he has been very brave that he has taken his own way in some way. It's not obvious that you should create say scientific society with many different or a blend of different subjects which meet when you meet. It's then you have a strong confidence in your own ability, but also a view of something bigger, what science is about, I would say. And I also like the how to say to the focus on the small children who have participated. It's really a very human person who uses his skills to create some kind of scientific atmosphere, which I hope all of us who have been participating can take it with us and go on in the same style and atmosphere. So it's just sad that he has passed too early, but I will always remember him with a very, very warm-hearted feelings. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Rosen. May I now request Professor Fatukon from Nigeria to share his personal view. Professor Fatukon, are you there? I think just some connection problem could be.
Yes, I think so.
Hello?
Yeah, now we can, yeah, you are
Hello?
audible. Yeah.
Are you
Yes,
hearing
audible.
me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It was a rude shock for me to hear of the demise of Professor M.R. Adhikari. The first time I had a contact with him, I was actually to attend a conference in Hong Kong, but that was the year there was a crisis there, and I couldn't get the visa until the conference was over. And I felt that same year I needed to discuss my research output in another conference. So I went online to the American Mathematical Society page because I'm an affiliate member, and I saw this conference. I've never met Professor before. When I saw this conference, I just applied, and he replied me, and we got on talking. It was very close to the date of the conference, and I needed to seek for a visa. But it gave me a lot of surprises. Anything they ask for from the embassy, he will quickly make that document available. At the time, he asked me for the email address of the Consular General, which I did. And I think he had a talk with them. And that was how I got that visa to come to Kolkata. And I met a very pleasant personality. Professor Adhikari was a good man, naturally. He doesn't discriminate. And because of that, the second conference I will be attending, I came with my wife. And the two of us were in attendance. And we related together like a family, as if we have known each other for many years. I'm sure Afishek will agree with me. His wife and the mother, they went together with my wife. The second time we came was when our luggage was delayed. And they went to the shop together, the shopping mall, to buy dress for my wife. It was a real challenge to me that he loves people. However, I would want to say that Afishek, even though I've written you privately, I want to say that he had given you a great legacy. Let the IBMC continue. And I hope if I have the opportunity, I'll be attending the next one, praying that the COVID will be over. And to everybody who is in this meeting, I want to also bring this to our knowledge that no matter what we do, a day will come, every one of us will go. But the question is, what will people say about you when you are no more? I wish every one of us a good opportunity to live long and to do more than what we have done so far. Once again, thank you very much. And Avishek and the young mathematician, the little boy that presented the biography of Professor, I wish you all well, take heart, God will grant you the
very
fortitude to bear the loss. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Fatukon. May I now request Professor Bagisha?
Thank you.
Professor Bagisha Mukherjee from US to please share your experience.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm really sad to hear that Professor Adhikari left us. The love, care, and affection I got from Professor Adhikari, I will remember and cherish that all my life. He was a very friendly, very easy to talk to, and very warm-hearted person. Whenever I met him, I felt that even more every time I met him. And may his family find to stay strong, healthy in the amid of this loss. I'm really grateful to have met Professor Adhikari in my life, and may his soul rest in peace. And thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you, Professor Mukherjee. Now, may I request the Treasurer of IMBIC, Mrs. Minoti Adhikari, to share her views.
Dear friends, thank you all for participating today, paying your homages to Dr. Professor M.R. Adhikari. Today is the very special day for Professor M.R. Adhikari, now beyond our reach. A simple man throughout his life, but life to him was not a bed of roses, rather a challenge. He accepted challenges boldly but silently in every phase of his life. Once it was said, where there is challenge, there is Mahim. Coming from a middle-class family with strong academic background, this challenging attitude led him to become a famous mathematician in the country and abroad. A born teacher with pleasing personality, attracted not only innumerable students, but many people who established themselves in different professions under his proper guidance and supervision. Being a constant companion over 44 years, as I portray him, a soft-hearted person full of treasure, enthusiastic, caring, but bold in nature, advanced in mind beyond the barrier, disciplined and sincere, anytime, anywhere. He is my idol, my philosopher, and pathfinder. At this very moment, his physical absence is really painful. Still, we feel his ever smiling presence with us throughout the program. Feel good where you are, my dear. Thank you all again.
Thank you for sharing us with this nice written poem by herself. Okay. May I now request Indronil? Indronil, are you there? Yeah.
Yes, Abhishek.
Yeah. Professor Roy from USA, please.
Yes, so Abhishek, may I start?
Please, please.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Abhishek. Well, first of all, my sincere condolences, Abhishek, to you and your family for this irreparable loss, and also to the IMBIC family. I'm deeply pained by the fact when I hear from you this morning that it was the last stage of liver cancer, and somehow it was not detected, and it's a great loss to me. I first met him in 2012 in Beek when I came to know about this conference with the help of my advisor, Professor Barry Arnold, who happens to be a very good friend of Professor Mahima Adhikari. And Dr. Arnold asked me that, Indranil, can you join there and present the paper? And so that's how I met him. And after 2012, every time I would go there, specifically in December, of course, I would have a lot of fun meeting with my friends and of course to meet my parents. But one of the major attraction was that I would be in the Salt Lake and I would enjoy the conferences, and it's a warm reception every time when I went there. I mean, and even, I mean, when I requested that, okay, Professor, can you put me in the first session? So these little things he always encouraged, and he always mentioned that, well, keep on, continue with the good work. And to me, IMBIC, even though I was not able to present virtually last year, it has become a part of my life. And, like many of the distinguished speakers before me mentioned, I mean, his legacy will continue and he will be with us. So thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you very much, Indranil, for sharing your views. Now may I request few of his direct students, maybe Professor Shushmita Shorkar from Calcutta University. Could you please share with us your views?
Thank you, Shankar. Professor Adhikari is my teacher. I was admitted in Presidency College in Mathematics Honours in 1980, and then I got him as my teacher. Sir taught us abstract algebra. He was a very good teacher, and he was a very good and also a very sincere teacher, and was also very affectionate. From the college, we had an educational excursion to Rajgir. Sir accompanied us with his family. Since then, I became very close to his family. I always call Abhishek as Shankho because Sir used to call him in this name. That tour was a great experience to us because Sir was very caring. After a long gap, I again met Sir in Burdwan University, where I joined as a lecturer. Sir was then professor there. Sir was very caring and he guided me there in all respect. I was also a council member of Calcutta Mathematical Society when Sir was secretary there. I used to attend all the council meetings then. I am really shocked. Till now, I cannot believe Sir is no more with us. Still, I feel Sir will call me over phone. I will meet him and see his ever smiling face. We have lost a very good teacher, a great academician, and a great human being. I don't know what happens after death. I pray for his soul rest in peace, and I express my deepest condolence to his family members, especially to Bodhi and Shankho. Thank you.
Thank you, Shushmita Di, for sharing your views. May I now request Professor Rita Chaudhuri from Assam to share a few words.
Good evening, everyone present in virtual mode here. Today, that is, these days, we are feeling very much sorry. Actually, when we heard about Sir last that bad news, I was really very much shocked. And I shared that news in social media also, because I am from Govt University, Assam, and first time I met Sir, Adhikari Sir, in Manipur University, where Professor Abhishek was also present there. And after that, many times I have conversation with him in virtual mode, and I met him in Calcutta also. That you all know about him very well, but just I feel I express my feelings about Sir, that he was so kind-hearted and affectionate. Then at first presence, I liked him very much well, because earlier I knew about him, but physically I that met him in Manipur University Science Congress meeting. And one thing also, I observed that Professor Adhikari, Professor Junior Adhikari, that was the Abhishek, was so caring about his father, and each and every time he took care about him. And he has written also that he's a proud son of his father. Yes, he is a proud son of a proud father. And actually I'm feeling very much sorry about this, but Professor Adhikari, Junior Adhikari, that Abhishek, I'm telling you that continue your conference, etc. That is the works remaining or half-done works of Adhikari Sir, and I will be happy. And I conclude here that thanking you all.
Thank you, madam. And surely we will try our best to continue the work, because now IMBIC is quite a big family, having members all over the world. May I now request Professor Joyashree Sarkar, who may not be a direct student of Professor Adhikari, but yes, she is very close to him. So, Dr. Joyashree Sarkar.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Actually, I am not prepared to tell something about Mohinda. He was very close to me. I knew him not as a teacher, but a human being. And my parents approached him for some personal reason, and he helped them so much. So I am thankful to him. So I cannot tell anything about him today.
Thank you. I can understand the emotion.
Yes, I am very much emotional today.
Yes, I can understand it. Now, may I request?
I don't know what to say. When I first met him, that was a very, very bad situation. I was an examiner under him, and some teachers gave wrong marks to some geometrical proof, and my husband was with me, and actually Professor Adhikari knew him as a student in Presidency College. So I asked my husband to approach Professor Adhikari to see whether these proofs are correct or not. And then and there, he was so angry with that examiner. I was so sorry. But he asked all of us to examine the papers again and to re-evaluate it. As a teacher, I really appreciated his gesture that day. And after that, why I can remember him, he was the only person who actually, I was then studying chaos theory, and somehow I told him that I was interested in this chaos theory and all. And he introduced me to my mentor, who is no more now. They were friends. Professor Utpal Kumar De, and I worked under him. And due to Professor Adhikari, due to Sir, I should say, due to Sir, I met my mentor and completed my PhD. So he knew that I was very grateful to him. Moreover, since I was the wife of his student, Somnath Ghosh, he thought that it is his duty to take care of me when I used to go to CMS, or that he used to ask me, how will you go back? How are you? Everything. So he was very affectionate. That I felt every moment whenever I met him. So different way, I'm grateful to him. I hope he will definitely, his soul rest in peace, and I really convey my condolence to Abhishek. He is a really proud son of a proud father, Abhishek and his family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now may I request Professor Sujit Kumar Shodhar to share his view. Professor Shodhar.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So actually, I was not a direct student of SAT, Professor Mahima Ranjan Adhikari, but he was more like a teacher to us. Every time we approached him for discussing so many academic things, and we always got his sincere help. And his sudden demise has created a vacuum among students like us. He was a very dynamic person and very pleasant personality, and his academic achievement is very high, and I think Abhishek has every ability to carry forward his legacy of this academic things, etc. And with a deep condolence to his family members, I like to conclude here, because there are so many persons to express their views.
Thank you, Professor Shodhar, for your views. And so may I now request Dr. Prova Chove. Are you there, ma'am?
Actually, it's me,
Okay.
Abhishek.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's actually I'm using
Madam. Okay.
her
Okay. I
iPad. Yeah.
understand. Yes.
So,
Okay.
I mean, we both are sorry. I'll just say on her behalf that we really felt like family, and she could not come and she could not say anything. She's very emotional. And I just like to say, and she mentioned to me how he took care of everybody with full details. For example, I told him that, with the lunch time, it was so heavy. Usually I used to miss the evening meal, and I used to take fruits. And he remembered that from the first time, every time I'll come, I'll find the room, he'll come with a bag full of fruits. And that I took for 3 days while I was there. So we both really miss him, and we share your sorrow, and we wish that you keep your strength and keep his legacy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now may I request Dr. Shumana Pal. She was Dr. Shumana Pal. Could you please share?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, actually, I came to know Professor M.R. Adhikari when Sir taught us our special paper, Advanced Algebra. Then, as things were going on, Dr. Abhishek Adhikari, he introduced me to IMBIC. And every year, there was an occasion to meet Sir and interact with Sir along with many others. And we had such a good time. Sir was a really good-hearted person, very energetic, and a great academician, and he had always encouraged everyone to do good work. I will always remember the smile on Sir's face whenever he greeted us. I extend my heartiest condolences to the family, and I am sure that Professor Abhishek Adhikari will continue with the work that Sir had done. Thank you.
Thank you, Shumanadi, for encouraging all of us. Now, may I request Dr. D. Roy, uh, Dr. D. Roy, to please.
I think that's Indranil Roy. He just
Okay.
spoke.
Okay. So now I can see that now the whole technical team. So as you know that every year we have a whole nice technical team with all my students who actively take part everything, and now few of the students become my colleague, and now it's open to all of you. So whoever wants to share anything, so it's now your turn. So please, if I miss somebody, anybody, Angshuman, can you see anybody that I have missed?
I will check. I will check.
For the guest.
May I say something on?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Please. Yes.
I'm Dr. Madhumita Dasharkar
Yes,
from
okay.
MACAUT,
Yes,
West
please.
Bengal University of Technology. And really, I was not shocked, very much shocked when I heard from Kutub that Sir is no more with us. And the thing is, I was not a student of mathematics. I was a student of physics and electronic science, and after that, I did my PhD in radio physics and electronics with Professor Vishwaranjan Nam. And the thing is, I found Sir in our library, always working and sincerely working in a library infrastructure where the students are reading and like gossiping. Even in that atmosphere also, some person who is working so nicely, and every day I usually found it. And after that, I went to Sir and asked him that about Sir, that Sir, what you are doing here and from where you have come. So on that day, I came to know that Sir is so big, an academic person, a distinguished person. I didn't even know Sir, but after some days, I became like uh, his like disciple kind of thing. And I lost my guide before my submission of thesis, but really within this some days Sir become my mentor, guide, and many more of that. So I really appreciate that, like Sir, I never found such a distinguished academician. And Sir used to always discuss with me regarding when he published his different books, and even we like a family member even. So really I found, and Sir always give me blessing so that I can find my way to achieve my objectives. That is my way. Like a great person, a great academicians, and as a big-hearted person, I never found. That is all, Abhishek.
Thank you, Madhumita Di, for sharing your views that most of us didn't know. So I know about his library reading and all, for sharing this moment. Thank you. May I now request Dr. Devidas Chattoraj to share your views, please. Professor Chattoraj?
We all are praying our departed soul be rest in peace at his eternal abode. And we are praying all of you, Abhishek, so that you can get the support.
Yeah, sure. With all of your blessings, we have to work hard.
Okay, thank you.
So, Dr. Deviraj Chattoraj, are you there? So, I think anytime he may join us. So, may I now request Dr. Moitrey Sen to share a few words with us. Dr. Sen, are you with us?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what to say right now because I was so shocked to hear the news from you because normally I have regular contacts with you, Professor Abhishek Adhikari. So, and from him, I just get all the well-beings and all the things of sir, I mean, Professor M.R. Adhikari. And he was my teacher in the Calcutta University Department of Biomathematics. After that, I went to IIT Kanpur and did my PhD in applied. But throughout all, I mean, during my PhD time and after that, I had contact with mainly with Abhishek Da, and then and also from him, time to time I used to get the news that he is fine and doing all these things, and till this date he was writing books and publishing. So in between last 1.5 months, I did not have that much contact with Abhishek then. So I suddenly just WhatsApped him that is everything right, and I got the news that sir is no more. So it was so shocking that I mean to tell anything about him, about his academics, I think it will not be. I mean, I should not be talking about those things because I'm too small a person to talk about those things. But as a human being, whenever I came in contact with him, he always encouraged us. I think not only me, everybody who came close to him or who came to him, he was always encouraging. Whatever we are doing, he never asked that whether you are doing pure mathematics, applied mathematics, or whatever, but he always encouraged that. So that was one thing that will stood out with all of us, I guess. And I wish and I hope that everyone in your family and everybody will be, and they will be, in due time, everybody will come to terms with this loss, although it is very tough. I can understand. So I wish and I hope his soul rest in peace. Thank you. Okay, then I wish you, carry forward, all his good work, and I'm sure you'll do that. Thanks.
Thank you, Moitrey, for all of your support. May I now request Dr. Anjana Bhattacharya to share a few words.
Good evening.
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah.
Good evening, all of you. It's a very shocking news. In fact, I was not a direct student of him, but he always treat like I am one of his students. He was very much energetic, and a very good teacher. Always he encouraged us to go ahead. We are very much, we feel very sad in his in his lost. So I pray God to God that he give his family to overcome this situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Anjana Di. Now, if anybody is left except for my students, but my students have a lot of experience with Professor M.R. Adhikari during these conferences, so it's now for you only. So all the technical support that we had, so those who have visited our conference might have seen we have a very strong technical team with all my students and all. So they give their full support. It's really a tough job to continue a conference for 14 consecutive years with the success, and the graph is gradually going up with all of your blessings and all. So now may I request the students of mine who are currently, few of them are my colleagues and few of them are now doing their job at Australia and Canada and all. So may I now request them? So it's, please go ahead, sharing your views.
Sir, I want to say a few words, if you permit
Please.
me. So, I was the master students of Professor M.R. Adhikari. So, actually, I am not in a stage that I can look upon or I can say anything about the mathematical sphere of Professor M.R. Adhikari. So it's beyond my capacity. So, but so far it was possible. I tried to learn something from his life, attitude, and understanding. So one thing is actually from the very first day I noticed that the innocent smile of Professor M.R. Adhikari, that's actually the reflection of his inner purity. And another thing, I always noticed that his faith on others, or more particularly faith on students. So that's a great virtue, nature based out only on the eligible personalities. So I wish that virtues should reflect on us also with the grace of Professor M.R. Adhikari. And I pray that his souls will rest in peace. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Partho from Australia. Now, anybody, it's anybody's platform. So, Angshuman, could you share a few things? Angshuman
Yes.
is currently now colleague of mine at Presidency University.
Yes, sir. So, incidentally, I happen to be the first batch of student taught by Professor Abhishek Adhikari, and the last batch of student taught by Professor M.R. Adhikari, both in the University of Calcutta. And I have been a student of Professor M.R. Adhikari in 2 of his courses. And apart from his academic sphere, about which I am not going to detail any further, what I felt is that his helping attitude towards his colleagues in his department, his students, was always there, even if it is not, reciprocated in the opposite direction. And I have learned many a thing from him in life. So I wish his soul may rest in peace. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Anybody who wants to say a few things?
Hello.
Yeah, Shomir, please. So Shomir is the PhD student of Professor M.R. Adhikari and is a good friend of mine as well. So please, Dr. Shomir Boshak.
Professor Dr MAHIMA RANJAN ADHIKARI was not only my supervisor of PhD, he was my guardian also. I have lost my guardian. I have no words to express my feelings about my sir. He was always a joyful man and guided me every time. He always guided me every time like my parents. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shomir. So anybody else? Shubhoshati is there, I guess.
Yeah. So I came across Professor M.R. Adhikari during the conferences of IMBIC, and I was greatly impressed by his hardworking nature. Although he was like pushing 70 when I first met him, but his exuberance, and he was always like running here and there, and I was feeling if I could have such energy even in my 20s, late 20s, I would be happy. What I really remember about Professor M.R. Adhikari is he not only thought about his own students, but he also kind of thought about us, Professor Abhishek Adhikari students also. So whenever we needed some help academically, he was there to help us. He wrote recommendations for us also after discussing with us what we wanted to do. And he will be missed. He will be missed. Please accept my deep condolences. And I was really shocked to hear that he was no more, because in my view, he was very fit and fine. And suddenly this news kind of shocked me. So when we meet again, hopefully physically, during the next IMBIC conference, we will not see him, but we can actually take his work further and make this conference a greater success. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Datto. So he is now in Canada, Calgary. Now may I request Mr. Kutubuddin Shaddar, if you would like to say a few words. Mr. Shaddar, are you with there? Okay, I think. So anybody else who want to share a few words are always welcome. Anybody? Okay, so it's been a long day, 3 hours around. We have just completed 3 hours. So may I request all of you, if possible, please switch on your camera so that we can see virtually at least all of each other. And at the end, if you have any note to share, so please share with us.
Well, we will definitely miss him in the next meeting. that we will all remember him very much for the rest of our life.
Yes. So, yeah.
His friendship and especially his friendliness and warm-hearted behavior, I wish I could follow that in my life. So.
Okay. So, yeah, so that's all. I think anybody else would like to say anything, then you're all
Sir, this is
welcome.
Jyotirma, if you allow me.
Yeah, please, please.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. I would be repeating if I say what I want to say completely, but I will just cut short my words. The only thing I would like to mention that Professor Adhikari had a very subtle quality about noticing the little things, maintaining the little things. Like all of my interactions with him were during the IMBIC conferences, and I remember whenever he used to pass me, he would ask, "Have you had tea? Have you had your lunch? Go have your lunch. You were working for a long time. Or how will you return after the conference ends today?" So these are the little things that makes a person different from others. And he really had this nice quality about observing these little things. And I wish the bereaved family, I mean, the loss is irreparable, but I wish they recover. I wish they learn to live with it. I wish they have the strength to live with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, anybody, anything? Otherwise, so anyway, we are, yeah, please.
Yeah. I'd just like to say thank you for letting me be a part of this, and thanks to everyone else for sharing things that I, hadn't heard or didn't know of. So again, just thank you.
Thank you very much. And Professor Fotukan was
Yeah, just to say once again, thank you for this privilege to be part of this meeting. It's like you are bringing IMBIC back again in his death. We are still together. God will give you the strength to continue the good works of your father. Thank you.
Thank you. With all of your blessings and all.
Thank you also.
I will.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I will come back to all of you with the new website of IMBIC and the announcement. So everything are already done. So you can at least go and check and start submitting your papers and all. So everything will be routine wise, and as usual, we need all of your help, like every year, being the family member as you extend all of your support and help. So this year also we are looking forward, and it's your family, so you have to work hard. So with all that, thank you very much. And it's 9 p.m. In India, maybe somewhere in morning or somewhere maybe a little late, but anyway. So thank you all of you for joining us.